Hi guys, as we know, the Tory mantra was get Brexit done. But as Brexit is breaking Britain and the Labour Party are afraid of turning off those marginal seats which are necessary for them to win a majority, they have instead come up with their own focus group slogan, Make Brexit Work. Well, the Shadow Work and Pension Secretary Jonathan Ashworth was called out on how much Brexit is making it more difficult for businesses to get the staff they need, and his response was to parrot a Tory line somewhat. We just need to get more unemployed people working again. Have a listen.
Economists say that one of the reasons for labour market inactivity in the UK is Brexit. Your leader says that he wants to be the party of business, that Labour's all about growth. Would you have softer ties on EU migration?
No, we're not proposing to change that. We would have a points-based system for immigration. But look at the data. There's 1.7 million people who say they are inactive, but who would want to go back to work, according to the ONS survey. Plus, we've got 1.2 million people short-term unemployed. So that's a pool of 3 million people who want to work in this country but are not getting the right levels of support to return to the labour market. We've got to change that.
Okay. There are a number of things to say about this. First of all, it was not necessary as part of Brexit to leave the single market and the customs union. That was not a requirement of Brexit, which means that the UK is in a position where it can't access the workers it needs. Now, when the UK was a member of the European Union, the economy expanded. Businesses set up, services grew, and that required workers. And because UK businesses couldn't get the workers they need locally, they sourced them from the EU. Now, sometimes it was cheaper, but generally, if you need skills and you can't find them in the local area, you go further afield. And if you can bring people in from abroad who are already trained up, that's much cheaper for your business. What the government is intending to do now instead is either to give incentives to businesses to train workers, to employ people and train them up, or to train people up and then put them into work positions. But this costs money and it takes time. Now, I understand that there are two problems here. The UK is not going to rejoin the EU at any time in the near future. So freedom of movement is not going to come back in the way it was when the UK was a member of the European Union. And the Labour Party don't want to be seen as weak on borders, quote unquote. So they're not going to bring back a version of freedom of movement, which would be freedom for foreigners to come in and not freedom for British people to move to Europe. As I said, that wouldn't happen until the UK rejoined the EU. But at least creating a better immigration policy, a better immigration system would help these businesses, because at the moment, if you want to bring people in, you need to sponsor them, and that's expensive. Many small businesses can't afford that. But unfortunately, I think the biggest problem here is that the Labour Party, in order to win over these marginal seats, need to appear tough on immigration. I've said before about how you're not going to be able to fill these vacancies with local people, with people within the country, because they don't have the skills, or they're not near the locations that need the staff. Farms out in the middle of nowhere, factories that need staff, and they're not able to find them in the local area. As I said, if you needed trained staff, a trained butcher or a trained fruit picker, you could bring them in from abroad without any problems. You can't train those people up immediately within the local vicinity. So once again, I understand what Labour is trying to do here. It's trying to keep these marginal swing voters happy by appearing tough on immigration. But it's going to create problems for businesses, because you're not going to be able to get the staff you need in the local area, because it'll take time to train them up, and it's going to be difficult to relocate people, especially as the businesses need the staff and they need the training, but the government doesn't have the money. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.